And we're back. And if you're joining us now, we are just getting our third and final conversation for this morning started. And we are speaking with Belize Water Services, and they're telling us all about a very interesting program. It's an Amnesty program, and they're going to be telling us all about what that means. So joining us for this morning's discussion, we have Haydon Brown, who is a Human Resource and Public Relations Manager from Belize Water Services, and also Mr. Alvan Haynes, who is the CEO of Belize Water Services. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for joining us. Shortly before we started, we were having a little discussion, and Marlene was asking, does this amnesty program mean we don't have to pay our bills? What are we talking about?
Okay, good morning again. The amnesty program really is geared towards our residential customers. Main focus are those customers who are in 3 months arrears and more. Really, the program is geared towards looking at our recovery of customers. We know that the pandemic has hit our country severely and has economically disposed a lot of our customers. And so in it really is a platform for us to offer a level of relief. We know the importance of water to our customers. It's a socioeconomic good, and so it really looks at partnering with our customers, offering them a sense of relief, but at the same time, it allows the company opportunity to recover a lot of, well, like I said, the arrears. It also aims at providing, we have, on the other hand, we have customers who are diligent in their payment. It also offers them a small rebate of 5%, and that is for residential customers only. So it's aimed at residential customers, and for those who are in arrears, the assistance program provides a means for them, whenever there is a payment that is made, there is a rebate of 10% that is going to be applied. Of course, there is always that caveat where it's not just an open-ended thing, but customers who are interested in the program would need to reach out to us through our customer services staff and provide the proof for us that there are some level of economic hardship. So it's the kind of thing that, you know, we want to, like I said, it's really to provide that help to those persons who are having difficulty. I mean, you know how many Belizeans lost their jobs and are without jobs, and so it's a company really showing its humanness in reaching out to those persons who are, you know,
struggling
in that dire situation. So in a nutshell.
Go ahead. I was going to ask about, you know, coming to this decision. It's you know, you had the best precursor to be able to really talk about where we are with the economy and some of the ongoing challenges. And when we dive down into the family level, we know that people are making tough choices as to what bills they're going to pay, what bills they can pay. And so clearly we're looking at a situation where you need to have the services paid for. What's the discussion that was ongoing internally for you to lead to this point? If CEO Haynes wants to take that up, and the number of people that you're finding in arrears.
All right, sure. Quickly, B.W.A has, fortunately, was performing very well before COVID, and that put us in a fairly strong position at the start, so much so that at that time, the company granted the government $1 million in cash to help with the government's COVID assistance at the start of COVID. And we had also put a 25% discount on all residential customer bills for those with usage of 3,000 gallons or less, which cost us about $500,000 in revenue. However, as has happened across the world, as COVID really hit and was sustained for the following months, water companies across the world were being asked to not disconnect water for non-payment, because obviously part of the COVID protocols is sanitation, constant hand washing and proper sanitation. As a result, since last April, we now have some 8,000 residential customers who are significantly in arrears, that is 3 months or more in arrears, out of a base of about 50,000 residential customers. That is obviously fairly significant. But the discussion, it was simply that we need to try to reach these customers to offer them assistance for the arrears assistance, which is the 10% on the 3 months and older arrears. There is a pre-qualification, that is B.W.A representative will talk to customers to try to get clarify what their exact financial position is. And that's just to avoid customers who might be able to pay but just have not been paying. The overall thing is that we want to help those customers. This program will only run for 3 months, but for those customers that are significantly in arrears like that, we're willing to sign them onto a payment plan that can extend for much longer, and will also maintain the 10% as long as they keep to the payment plan monthly payments. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm interested in hearing the so, you know, understanding that water was crucial in the sanitization efforts when you talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. So you have been such, well, you're always an essential service, but even more so under these current times. But it's not that you haven't been without your own challenges. The floods that we saw, in fact, we know had effects on water supply in different parts of the country. Did that also come at an expense for BWS too?
Yes, we have had our challenges. In fact, we just recently fully restored the supply to B.W.A, where we had water mains that was bringing water across the river had been significantly damaged by the floods, and then affected by subsequent flooding so that we could not repair. We had a number of issues with the sources in San Ignacio and Belmopan, the Roaring Creek intake, as we call it.
Yes.
And obviously these have all come at a cost to the company, as well as whenever there's flooding, there tends to be damages, some caused by washouts, some caused by works to restore drainage, etc. And of course, the other part is that our revenues have been hit. Our biggest customers are the hotels and resorts within our service area. And as we all know, tourism basically has taken a nosedive, so that portion of our revenues has been lost for all of those months. And we, like everyone else, are hoping to see tourism rebound so we can kind of get back on track. It's worth pointing out that BWS has been providing quality services on supply, right? For those people who travel, they will probably realize that the service is on par with the developed world, right? And certainly far ahead of most third world countries. And all we are trying to do our best to maintain that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have the option to reduce supply or to cut off sections of the system. Most businesses can reduce their activity.
Yeah.
We don't have that option. We've got to continue providing to all service areas at the same level of quality. Yeah. So what we're trying to ask customers to do is to just put in their bit, contribute their bit by paying the bills to help us keep that going.
It sounds like a pay what you can system. Of course, it's worth noting, though, that the fact that you have people in so many months arrears means that you've been not disconnecting for some time. Of course, I'd imagine that's not sustainable in the long term either.
Is that wrong?
Certainly, that's indeed one of our concern, and is one of the many other reasons why we are pushing to partner with our customers. Collection is an important part of what we do, and for us, we certainly that's why we have also, like you mentioned, we have extended the customers, or given the customers the flexibility to pay over a period of time, because we know that despite our best efforts, sometimes people cannot come up and just make that huge payment, and so we welcome that person who would be willing to come in and sit and talk with us. But in terms of sustaining what we do, is significant to us that we do have our collections efficiency improving because of all the other things, some of the things you have mentioned in terms of the hit we took with the damages and so on from the flooding and other things. These things all impact us in significant ways, and for us to continue to not only what we do today, but to expand our services, because while we are doing what we do for those who are on the system now, there are still those who continue to plan and progress their lives and wanting our services to be extended. So as a company, we need to be able to find ways and means to get all of these things done. And like Mr. Haynes had also mentioned, we have, before COVID, we were doing so good. I mean, to the point that we don't try to depend on others, but to be self-sustainable as a company, and to be able to carry our own expenses and even expansion projects and things like that. Sometimes the government would partner, but I mean, under these conditions, I mean, it's known to all that everybody, including government, we're all struggling. Cash is a main challenge for everybody, and so it's one of the things that B.W.A will continue to do, and we think and just do everything we can to get as much cash as we can for us to continue to offer these very important services to our customers.
So the criteria for the assistance with the arrears, or arrears assistance, that's what you call it, is that you would have had more than 3 months in arrears, but you do also have to have proof of your economic hardship. What type of proof can someone provide?
Well, we know that some individuals, when they were relieved from their employment, they had gotten letters. So that would be something to say that they're no longer employed. We also have been partnering with the Ministry of Social Development. We know they have a program in identifying the individuals who are high risk or at risk in terms of the poverty line or not having employment. And so, we're looking at different ways to gather information so that when individuals come along to us, we're able to match certain things, if you may, with the information shared. So those are some of the things that we are looking at. But one of the things certainly it's just verifying their employment and whether or not they're employed or not. No, I mean that's one of the biggest area. And then if they are employed and even making less, then again we look at something that is affordable and not putting people, extending people beyond their capabilities. So that's.
And so it's a 10% rebate on payments made, and also the opportunity to have a payment plan that may go beyond 3 months too.
Yes, yes, it definitely. In the first instance, we are prepared to go even up to a year, and like we say, I mean, we will be flexible. If somebody is committed to something and they show their ability to make payments for 14 months or whatever. I mean, we just want to be able to not put any other hardship on that person that is willing to partner with us, So it would put us in a better place collection-wise, and it puts them in a good place also to know that they don't have that arrears hanging over their heads.
Or potentially losing access to the service at some point in time.
Right. And if I may add, the payment plans are totally interest-free. One of the things we definitely don't want to do is to have to send people to money lenders or where they're borrowing at commercial rates or higher, just to be able to maintain their utility. So part of the condition is to just verify what amounts they would be able to pay monthly, bearing in mind that they will still have a regular monthly bill coming in. So they would be looking at an additional amount on top of their regular bill that they can afford to pay. And the customer service reps will walk them through that and make sure that they're comfortable with the payment plan amounts, and then they will extend that payment plan to suit. If it needs to be extended longer than normal, they would get permission from the customer services manager. But like Mr. Brown said, we're looking at standard 1 year, but we can go beyond that where there is enough justification.
And just a question, if you had already seen people coming in kind of wanting to negotiate, understanding the financial situation a lot of families find themselves in. Were you already seeing that?
Yes, we have. In fact, before we started this program, when we had, about a month ago, when we had put out a notice of our intention to start disconnecting, we got a number of people. So about 3,000 out of that 8,000 or so people in areas had already contacted us in some form. A few of those actually said, well, I have absolutely no income, so I can't pay anything, but most of them were willing to come to some kind of arrangement, make an initial payment, etc. And we have also asked the Ministry of Human Development if we can send people to them who are saying, look, I have absolutely no income, so I can't pay, to see if there's any government assistance that might be able to help those people in any way, not just with their water bills.
No, that's such a telling situation, the idea of people coming in to try to secure this essential service even if they don't have an income. So of course the flip side of it, because you don't want people to be advantageous, is that you are still encouraging people who can pay to pay in full and pay in full early.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Oh, yes. I was just saying that, we also recognize that group of individuals, like we said, as a part of our launch, to recognize them and also to give them that discount, that we did on their payment. And so we really, really want to, thank them for their commitment to maintain, their payments to their billings. they're indeed a great part of our ability to continue to do business, and we really, really appreciate their payments and their commitments.
Okay.
And if people or some of our viewers may be watching right now and they want to find out some more information or want to contact BWS about getting onto the program, how is the best way that they should do that?
I believe our contact details are on our flyers and social media. We have all our 0800 numbers. We have all our WhatsApp contact numbers by district listed on our press release that we had sent out. It's on our Facebook page. It's on all the other social media mediums, and so it's there. It's also on our website, and so people can reach out to us through these mediums, and certainly we will be responsive with those. Visit any one of our offices countrywide, and again, we will be there to be there to serve them.
Yeah. No, I think, as I read the details of the program, it seems that your team there definitely took some time to consider the challenges that Belizeans are facing right now. And it is, to be clear, only for residential services. So, not that you had a business and you couldn't pay a bill. It's only for people living in households, right?
Yes,
that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It's targeted at residentials, and just for clarity, the rebate on early payment for those customers who are making their regular payments is a 5% rebate if you pay your bill in full 5 days or earlier before the due date, and that's an automatic rebate that will be processed within a few days after the payment. So for those customers who pay their bills early, they will just see a rebate credit on their next bill. Right? There's no need to apply for that one. It's only the arrears assistance that needs to be applied for.
Well, gentlemen, kudos in being able to meet the needs of the Belizean people. I can't say that much. So for the 5,000 people who are at home concerned about whether or not they'll be able to maintain a water supply in their homes, they now know they have an option to go in and try to work out a payment plan through your arrears assistance. Thank you so much for telling us all about it.
I want to just plug an important part of is the conservation aspect. We didn't mention much about that, or anything on that, but it's one at a time to. This is part of the year when water becomes a challenge, and so we also ask our Belizean consumers to be considerate, not to waste water, use it wisely. Despite all the other challenges, right? So. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that reminder. You're absolutely right. It's not that hot yet, but that time is coming up very quickly. Yes. So thank you and stay safe.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. And you heard from BWS all about their Amnesty program. If you are interested, you can contact them in any of the several ways which they've just shared. And with that, of course, we are going to be taking our final break, and when we come back, we're going to have our wrap-up. So please stay tuned.